morning, sir. Myself Ayush, and our project is about to design a proposal of hotspot setup for a coffee shop. So here we have one PC, which is basically used to show the details about the connections of different devices with their access points. And then we have a switch, which is basically used to establish a connection between different devices. And then we have a router here, which is used to like establish connection between different networks. So we have given a configuration of switch 0, then we have given configuration of PC, which is over here, IPv4 address and subnet mask. Now we have different access points. We have three access points, which is providing a wireless connection to the devices. An access point is basically used to provide a wireless local area network so that every device can connect with the access point easily. First of all, we have to configure the access point first. So for physical, we have to set up this part first. If we will switch it off, then it is clearly visible. It is disconnected here. And if we want to work our first access point, we have to first switch it off. Then we have to drag this part over here, and we will switch it back on. So as you can see, the connection is established. And for the configuration part, we have named our first access point as default 2 and switch it on. Like there are different devices which can connect to different access points. So if we want our device to connect only with a particular access point, we have to authenticate it with WPA2-PSK. We are establishing a local network so that our devices will connect to a particular access point only. If we won't do so, then it will default on a disabled mode, which will basically do like our device will connect anywhere in the system, like any access point. So to avoid that, we are doing it WPA2-PSK. We switch it over here, and then we will give a certain password so that it can connect it with that easily. So we are giving here password 456123789. This is the password for the access point. Now if we want our smartphone to connect with the access point 6. So we have to go to the configuration of the smartphone. Then by default it was disabled, but we have to connect it with the particular access point only. So we will switch it to the WPA2-PSK, and then we have to give the password same as which we have given to the access point, like 456123789, and 789, and the IP configuration will be DHCP, and IPv6 configuration will be automatic. Now if we look at the second access point, we will do the same. We will first switch it off, then we will have to drag it to the here, and we will switch it back on. It will set up a connection over here, and then we have to configure it. For port 0, we will switch it on. The bandwidth will be 100 Mbps. Connection will be duplex. For port 1, we will go with the default So the name of this access point will be Ayush, and if we want to authenticate it, then we have to select the WPA2-PSK and we will give the password like the previous one, and we have to close. As we can see, the password, the access point configuration is set up. And now for the devices, if we want every device to connect with a particular access point, then we'll have to configure the devices also. So first of all, for the PC, we will switch it off first, then we will provide this here, and we will switch it back on. With that, as we can see, the connection will be set up. And for the configuration part, we'll go to the desktop, wireless. Now we have to search for the access points here. If we want to connect, we will go to connect and we will refresh it here. So here, as we can see, our connection is showing the 3 access points: default 2, which is this one, and Ayush, which is access point which is in the middle, and our third access point is access point 8 now, which is default 1. Now we have to connect our PC with the Ayush, so we will select it here and we will connect. Now it is asking a password. We will give a password whatever we set in that access point. Now connect. As we can see, our PC is connected to the access point. Then we can close it. Now same we can do for the laptop. We will go to a laptop, we will switch it off, we will drag this part here, we will switch it back on, then we will go to desktop, then we will go to PC wireless, then we will connect, we will refresh and all. Same we can do for the laptop, then tablet, then smartphone, and then printer. And same for the access point 3, we will do the same part. We will switch it off first, then we will drag this part here, we will switch it back on. And for the configuration part, we will go to port 0, switch it on, 100 Mbps half duplex, then port 1, we will name it as a default 1, and WPA to PSK authentication, and we have given the password 987654321 here. For the smartphone to connect with this particular access point, we will configure it with the configure wireless 0, and we will switch authentication to WPA to PSK. Then we will give the same password as we have given to the access point, and IP configuration DHCP, IPv4 6 automatic. So that's how hotspot setup will work in a coffee shop. Now we can also expand according to our need. We can add more access points to it, we can add more devices respectively. This is basically a basic structure at how a hotspot setup will work in a coffee shop.